As a young doctor with few patients, Doyle found plenty of time to write. Years later, he told why he felt compelled to create Holmes.
I'd had, of course, a scientific training, and I used occasionally to read detective stories. It always annoyed me how in the old-fashioned detective story, the detective always seemed to get at his results either by some sort of lucky chance or fluke, or else it was quite unexplained how he got there. He got there, but he never gave an explanation.
In a number of films from the 30s, Arthur Wontner is Sherlock Holmes and Ian Fleming is Dr. Watson. Deductive reasoning is on full display.
Yes, you moved your shaving mirror over to the fireplace. Yes, that's right. My wife has a dressing table where we used to have... How did you know? My dear Watson, you're a man of precise habits and considerable regard for your personal appearance. Yes, I observed that whilst the right-hand side of your face is closely shaved, the further we get to the left, the more careless your shaving appears. So we come to the angle of the jaw where it is positively suddenly. See, I deduce, therefore, that you placed your shaving mirror where the light strikes on the right side of the face. The bed must obviously be across the end of the room, therefore the fireplace is the only place left which could produce that result. Amazing, Holmes. Elementary, my dear Watson. Elementary. Yes, Mr. Henry as the victim.
I mean that we should see Mr. Holmes do his stuff.
It is a modern expression, Watson, signifying to display one's talent.
That's right. I want Mr. Holmes to tell us what Father's been doing for the last 20 years, just by looking at him.
Holmes is always observant, even of friends.
Great faith in my abilities, Miss Vanderbilt, but I'm afraid there's very little data. I merely observed that since we last met, your father has taken to billiards, and that he's recently played 100 up with Mr. Trevor. So brutally correct, Holmes, but how... Oh, my dear fellow, it's simplicity itself. I observed that both you and Mr. Trevor have traces of blue chalk between the forefinger and thumb of your left hand, which was put there, obviously, to steady the cue. There. I hope that satisfies you, Diana. Where were you married, Mrs. Douglas?
In New York.
Ah, in America? You know nothing of his life?
Holmes is not only observant, he is worldly wise.
Nothing at all.
That mark on his arm, you know what that is?
No?
You never asked him?
Yes, I did once, but he refused to discuss it. So I never asked again.
You've no idea what it is?
None whatsoever. Can't you suggest anything?
Mrs. Douglas, I suggest that you tell me the truth.
Mr. Holmes!
You know perfectly well what that mark is. You couldn't possibly have lived in America without knowing. All the written with you, Moriarty.
In one of the films, our master detective's archenemy, Professor Moriarty, is about to push Dr. Watson down an 80-foot abandoned elevator shaft.
Very good. I will now remove the panel and wish you a swift journey. Don't move, any of you. Huh? Except you, my dear Watson, who I'm sure will be more comfortable with us. You must excuse me for trespassing on your private property. I've had the lift put in order again. You clever... No compliments, please. I arrest you, Robert Moriarty. On what charge? Being concerned in the murder of the stable boy, Edward Hunter. Well, it's the most amazing case we've ever solved, Holmes. Elementary, my dear Watson. Elementary.
Most criminologists of today will tip their hats in gratitude to the legacy of Holmes and his creator. In fact, a member of the Sherlock Holmes Society is an official of Scotland Yard, Philip Dalton. Mr. Dalton kindly consented to escort us to a very special, exclusive place. Behind a pub, on an obscure street near Trafalgar Square, the Society has assembled a stirring tribute to the leading detective of all time.
Well, here it is, the sitting room at 221B Baker Street. Left exactly as it was on the instructions of Mycroft Holmes, Sherlock's brother. Nothing to be touched. Nothing has been. It's all here. With Persian slipper. With some tobacco still in it. The poker that Sherlock Holmes nearly straightened. The violin that he used to play across his knees. There's the gasogene. There's the Tantalus. Patriotic VR picked out in bullet box. And behind me is the bust of Sherlock Holmes that was the target for Colonel Sebastian Moran's air rifle. And you can still see the bullet hole. This room is, of course, a shrine, and it's visited by pilgrims from all over the world. It's especially a shrine for the Sherlock Holmes Society of London. If, in this room, you were to ask me, was Sherlock Holmes fact or fiction, I'd like to echo the reply given by our president, Lord Gorbooth, who, when asked that question, said, yes.
The claim that Sherlock Holmes did exist beyond the imagination of Conan Doyle may seem preposterous to many. But as we shall see, there is evidence to support this belief. The first clues to why Holmes may have been more than simply a fictional character may be found in Doyle's life itself. H.R.F. Keating is one of Doyle's leading biographers.
But he did other things in many other fields. He was the man who introduced the ski to Switzerland. Before that, it had just been a way of getting about over the snow in Norway. He brought it to Switzerland and started the whole great skiing industry. It was like bringing the pumpkin to America. Then, in the 1914 war, he was the man responsible for the introduction of the modern military steel helmet. He carried out experiments himself with a rifle and proved that protection could be given against the modern bullet. At the same time, he insisted that the troops going over from England to France were equipped with inflatable life jackets, and they went to the British Navy as well.